my friends, this is Karina from KarinaWisdom.com, back with day 33 of the journey. And how am I feeling? Well, I'm feeling super excited about taking this to the next level. I've sort of made peace with the word selling. I think the word selling has been given such a bad rap, even by myself. I don't know if I'm just picking up with what the group has agreed on, but I think it's time that I bury the hatchet and that I make peace with this word. So I'm actually reading another book by Grant Cardone. It's called Sell to Survive. And I'm looking at getting my sales message and my pitch as tight as possible. And that's what you need to do with any website or any blog. You have to get your message as tight as possible. You may not need to know it immediately in the beginning, but as you go along, it's very important for you to know what your message is. Now, having the right mindset is key to your success when you're building your new online business. And you really have to flood your senses with everything entrepreneurial, whether it's books, whether it's audios. What you have to realize is you're training yourself to run a business, especially if you've worked a 9 to 5 for years, or you've worked for a boss for years. When you're in an online business, it's a totally different ball game. Think about when you're choosing to learn a sport. So, for example, if you're learning tennis, you're going to study the manual on how to do tennis, especially if you're teaching yourself. You're going to study the manual to find out what you need, what are the rules of the game, what you need to do, how do you do it best. So it's the same thing that you're starting your own online business. You need to expose yourself to as much information of being an entrepreneur as you can, so that you can gain the entrepreneur mindset, because gaining the entrepreneur mindset is completely different from the 9 to 5 mindset. It took me a little bit to switch over. It took me a little bit for me to understand that. If you're not able to get into the coaching program of some successful entrepreneur, then you can either get their books, or you can read their blogs, or you can follow them on social media. Socialization with someone who has achieved what you want to achieve is way, way important. That's how you get access to that key information that will help you to grow your business, will help you to make your business stronger. Now, why am I reading these books by entrepreneurs who are millionaires or billionaires? Because I'm reading Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Matheson, who is a billionaire, and I'm reading Grant Cardone's book. He's a multimillionaire several times over. And when I say multimillionaire, the other day I was listening to him, and he was taking out a $35 million loan for some rental apartments that he was going to buy. Now, you need to have a certain amount of equity, or you need to have a certain net worth in order to convince the bank to give you a $35 million loan, right? Why would I read these books by these guys? It's for one reason and one reason only. Think about it. These guys are millionaires. They're billionaires. The type of money that they make from writing this book is absolutely nothing. It's a drop in the bucket compared to what they make on a daily basis, which means that the only reason they've written this book is to provide information to the masses, letting them know that this is possible, you can do it too, this is how you can do it. They make no money from writing this book. Imagine all the time they invested in writing this book. That time could have been used to broker multi-million-dollar deals. So I think that a lot of times when you see these books from these billionaires or these millionaires, they are just contributing to the community. They're just nurturing a group of entrepreneurs and just letting them know that, hey guys, it is possible. This is how I started. This is how I did. This is what I did. These are the mistakes that I make. This is what you need to look out for. This is what you need to do. This is a key focus that you need to have. So anytime you get the opportunity to grab one of these books and read them, please do, because that's giving you a really in-depth insight into the entrepreneur mindset. One of the things that I also realized about reading books, this is a new statistic that I just learned earlier, that the average CEO reads 60 books per year. 60, yes, 60 books per year. And the average American only reads one book per year, and they earn 319 times less than the average CEO. And what this is pretty much saying is the reading of books, the acquiring of knowledge, and I mean the reading of books in the field that you want to be an expert in, really contributes to your network. The last statistic I saw was if you read 50 books for the year, every year, it puts you in the top 1% of income earners. There's another quote that I saw that if you read one book per month for 10 years, that puts you in the top 1% of people in your field. Now, how can you read that many books? Especially 50, 60 books a year. I'll give you a secret, because I was wondering, I think about how long it takes me to read a book. And these CEOs, they invest in speed reading courses so they can read a book in no time because they know exactly how to speed read. And I've heard this before, like Jack Canfield, the founder of the Chicken Soup for the Soul. He says that he reads about 3 books a week. And we're like, how can you read 3 books a week? He's like, because I speed read. He learned how to speed read. So if there's any opportunity for you to learn how to speed read, that's how you can achieve that goal of reading 50 books minimum a year. So in essence, you can literally read your way to success. There's no way that you can read a book and not be influenced by what you just read. It's just like a balloon. When you blow a balloon up and you let the air out, the balloon never returns to its original shape. One of the other key things about reading books is you need to be exposed to the information 7 through to 21 times in order for you to truly absorb it. And you're like, well, Karina, you said I need to read 50 books for the year, and then these 50 books I need to read 7 through to 21 times. Well, you know what? There are certain books that are very core in the information that they provide, and there are others not so much. But you still read them, and you might gain like one idea, one concept from it that just changes everything like that. Now you have the other types of books that they're really core, and it's important to study every single aspect of those books. Now those books are the ones that you need to expose yourself to 7 through to 21 times. One of the key things that I do with core books like that is I read it through the first time once, and then the second time, or the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh time, I listen to it on audio. So I have it playing in the background like my own personal radio station. Now, yes, I do have a literal example of the power of reading books, and this is actually from one of my coach, Alex Jeffries. He actually knows the author of Ready, Fire, Aim, and that's Michael Matheson. And he was sitting down talking to Michael because he and Michael are friends. And he was sitting down talking to Michael. And Michael said, "Did you read my book?" And Alex was like, "No." He's like, "Okay, you need to read my book." So Alex got his book, read it, and he made his first million that year. He met up with Michael a year and a half later, and they were sitting down in one cigar bar or whatever. And Michael was like, "Did you read my book?" And Alex was like, "Yeah, I read your book." And he's like, "Did you read it again?" And Alex is like, no. And he's like, "Read my book again." And that's kind of like where I fell in love with books as audios, because Alex, he lives in London. He was flying home, and he had a long train ride from the airport to his house. And while on the train ride, he listened to the book, meaning that he had the audio version of the book and he played it at double speed. Because remember, once you've read the book already, you pretty much have a lot of the information. You just need to remind yourself of it. So yes, when I listen to those books in the background, like my own personal radio station, I do listen to them on double speed. It's interesting to find that there are certain moments that I'll be typing and then I'll stop and like, oh, wow, what was that? And then I'll listen and I'll hear something that I need. So even though you might not be consciously paying attention to what is being said, you are absorbing the information. So that, my friends, is the power of reading. Remember to click like on this video and also to click subscribe to this channel so you can get the latest video as soon as it's published. In the description below, you'll find a link to my site, KarinaWisdom.com. Click it, jump over there, and you'll see day 33 did sheet, exactly what I completed today to move myself further towards my goal. While you're over there, plug in your email address, click give me access now, and jump onto my list. My friends, thank you for watching this video. This is Karina from KarinaWisdom.com signing off. Boom.